There are secrets that don't just destroy one person, they destroy everyone around them. Ethan discovered it on an ordinary night at the office. A night that looked completely normal from the outside, just like any other overtime shift in a busy corporate building. But what he never expected was that the person betrayed wasn't the weakest one in the system. It all started from Staircase 7, a place no one ever paid attention to, a place people only used when they wanted to be alone. Ethan was not a loud person. In the company, he rarely spoke, unless it was necessary, and he never tried to attract attention. Just worked. But everyone around him knew he was one of the most capable people in the team. Every project he touched delivered strong results, often saving timelines and fixing problems that others couldn't solve. People assumed promotion was only a matter of time. Yet time passed, and nothing changed. No recognition, no promotion, no clear explanation, just silence. Instead, it was Lily who kept moving up. She was new to the company, soft-spoken, visually striking, and carried herself with quiet confidence that made people notice her easily. But technically, she was not the strongest. In fact, there were moments she struggled with basic tasks, moments where others had to quietly fix her mistakes without making it visible. And yet, she was always protected, always assigned to better projects, always placed in meetings where decisions were made, always saved from consequences that others would have faced immediately, while Ethan stayed exactly where he was. Over time, Ethan stopped asking questions out loud. Instead, he started observing. Patterns began to appear, decisions that didn't make sense, promotions that didn't follow performance, projects that failed but were still praised internally. And every time something went wrong, Lily somehow remained untouched, even elevated. The system didn't look random anymore. It looked designed. One night, Ethan stayed late at the office again. The building was almost empty. Lights dimmed, corridors silent. When he walked down Staircase 7, he heard voices. Very faint, but close enough that he could tell they were just behind the metal door of the emergency exit. He stopped immediately, not because he was trying to listen, but because something in his mind told him that if he continued walking, he would see something that could not be unseen. Behind the half-open door, there was dim yellow light, and there he saw the boss and Lily. There was no dramatic movement, no need for clear visuals. The silence itself explained everything. Ethan didn't move. He didn't interrupt. He simply stood still, watching from a distance that made him invisible. After a few seconds that felt much longer than they were, he slowly raised his phone. His hands stayed in the air for a moment, as if weighing a decision that could change everything. Then he lowered it. No recording, no evidence, just memory. And then he turned around and walked away without a sound. From that night onward, something changed in Ethan's perception of everything around him. He stopped seeing the company as a normal workplace. Instead, he began to see it as a structure built on invisible rules, where logic and merit were not always the deciding factors. He noticed how weak decisions were defended, how stronger employees were quietly pushed aside, and how authority could reshape reality simply by repeating itself long enough. In one meeting, Ethan directly pointed out a serious flaw in a project report. He was precise, calm, and completely factual. There was no emotion in his voice, only clarity. But the boss didn't engage with the argument. He didn't ask questions or request clarification. He simply looked at Ethan and said, "No need to fix it." And that was the end of the discussion. No debate followed. The room moved on as if nothing had happened. Not long after, Lily was assigned to lead another major project. It was a position that required experience and technical control, something she had not fully demonstrated yet. Ethan looked at her during a quiet moment and asked in a low voice whether she was confident about handling it. Lily paused for a moment, her expression uncertain, and admitted that she didn't really know. It was one of the few honest moments Ethan had ever heard from her. After that, Ethan began collecting everything: emails, approvals, project logs, changes in staffing decisions, revision histories, anything that could help reconstruct the hidden structure behind the outcomes he was witnessing. He was not thinking about revenge. At least not yet. He told himself it was about understanding the truth, about proving to himself that what he suspected was real. Eventually, he decided to meet the boss's wife. She agreed. Without hesitation, she was calm when she arrived, almost too calm. as if she had already prepared herself for whatever was going to be said. She didn't ask what Ethan wanted. Instead, she said a single sentence, immediately. "I know." Ethan stayed silent. She continued, explaining that she had known for a long time, but some truths, once exposed, do not only destroy people, they destroy everything built around them. Ethan asked her what she was trying to protect. She answered with one word: stability. That word carried more weight than any argument. Ethan left that meeting without making any promises or threats. That same night, he sent everything he had collected to internal audit. No names highlighted, no personal targeting, just structured data and evidence. He didn't try to control what would happen next. He simply released it into the system and waited. A few days later, the investigation began. Slowly at first, then all at once. Decisions were reopened. Projects were paused. Documents were reviewed line by line. The boss was called into meetings repeatedly, each one longer and more serious than the last. Lily became visibly confused, unable to understand why everything around her was suddenly collapsing. But Ethan continued his routine as if nothing had changed, arriving at work on time, doing his tasks, speaking less than before. Later, the boss's wife met Ethan again. She said she'd stayed silent for too long, longer than she should have. Ethan asked what she planned to do now. She looked out of the window for a long time before answering that she just wanted to leave everything behind. The company, the role, the life she had been maintaining. There was no anger in her voice anymore, only exhaustion. Soon after, the boss was removed from his position. Lily disappeared from key projects almost immediately. The company entered restructuring, and everything slowly shifted into a new order, one that no longer resembled what it used to be. But interestingly, no one talked about the past anymore. It was as if the entire period had been silently erased from conversation. Ethan stood once again at staircase 7, the same place where everything had started, and now, where everything had ended. He didn't feel victorious. He didn't feel like he had defeated anyone. He simply understood one thing clearly. He hadn't destroyed anything himself. He had only made it impossible for the truth to stay hidden any longer. If this story made you think, don't forget to like. There are many more stories like this still untold.